Was this really just a simple mistake, or is there something much deeper going on here? We've all seen the classic long-lost relative trope in soaps, but what the Coronation Street bosses are doing with Jodie Ramsey right now isn't just a cliché. It's a masterclass in how to systematically destroy a family. Is she really just a sister looking for a place to call home? Or is she Weatherfield's first true identity thief who won't stop until Shona Platt is completely erased from her own life? Today, we are diving deep into the darkness that is Jodie Ramsey. We're going to analyze why the show's producers are teasing a revenge twist that could change the Platt family forever. So stick with me because this gets complicated. Jodie didn't just walk onto the cobbles for a quiet cup of tea. She literally exploded into the show during that high-octane Corrie crossover event. You might remember she was found bound and gagged in the back of a van driven by Graham Foster. From the moment Kit Green spotted that distinctive tattoo on her wrist, which was a mirror image of the ink on Shona's back, the trap was officially set. But here is where we need to look closer. A tattoo isn't just a physical connection in a soap opera. It's a permanent brand of shared trauma that links two souls who were never meant to be reunited under these circumstances. The sources we have reveal a character who has been hiding behind a massive witness protection lie while she systematically dismantles Shona's sense of security. This isn't just a basic case of sibling rivalry, it's a strategic invasion. When she moved into number 8, Jodie didn't just find a roof over her head. She found a stage where she could perform her most dangerous role yet, being a better version of Shona than Shona herself. So, we have to ask ourselves, why has Jodie targeted the Platts with such surgical precision? It's clearly not just about having a warm bed or some extra cash, even though she made that comment about getting what's owed to her. The real reason probably lies in the massive gap between Shona's comfortable life and the one Jodie was left to endure. While Shona was building a family, Jodie was stuck caring for their estranged and confused father, Doug Ramsey. In Jodie's twisted mind, Shona escaped and found happiness, leaving her to rot in the shadows of their father's illness. Because of that, her actions are a form of balancing the scales. It's a dark, warped version of justice where she thinks she is entitled to everything Shona has built. Think about the emotions involved here. Jodie is likely operating from a place of profound emotional starvation. When she was peering through those blinds in the ICU just to get a glimpse of baby Harper, she wasn't acting like a proud aunt. She looked like a ghost staring at a life she thinks she was robbed of. There is this hollow desperation in her eyes that suggests she doesn't actually know who she is without a role to play. Whether she's playing the victim in the back of a van or the long-lost sister in the kitchen, she's always performing. She's feeling a mix of burning envy and a freezing cold sense of abandonment that she is now projecting onto everyone around her. If we reframe the situation, it gets even creepier. Most of us see Jodie as a villain, but what if she's actually a dark mirror for Shona? Shona has her own dark past with Clayton, after all. Jodie is essentially the unreformed version of what Shona could have become if things had gone differently. By trying to steal Shona's life, Jodie isn't just taking a house. She is trying to perform a soul swap. She wants the redemption that Shona earned, but she doesn't want to do any of the actual work to get it. It's a parasitic relationship where she's draining Shona of her identity just so she can thrive. Honestly, in my opinion, the Platts are being dangerously naive here, especially David. While David thinks he's being amused by catching Jodie in a raunchy rendezvous with Carl Webster, he's actually being played like a fiddle. I really disagree with how quickly this family just integrated her into their home. A matching tattoo should not be a free pass into a house where children live. The writing is brilliantly frustrating because we can see all the red flags that the characters are choosing to ignore just in the name of family. Psychologically, Jodie displays all the classic traits of someone who needs to be the center of attention at any cost. Her need for drama is so extreme that she literally trashed the living room and cut her own finger just to make sure the police and forensics would focus on her. This is high-level manipulation. She is weaponizing the family's empathy to keep them in a state of constant anxiety. By creating a fake threat from her past, like that girl Olivia, she makes herself a permanent victim that the Platts feel they have to protect. That's how she cements her place in that house. But things have moved from creepy to outright criminal way faster than anyone expected. The sources confirm that Jodie's disappearance was a total lie. She didn't just leave. She doubled back, trashed the house, and then, in a moment of pure cold-bloodedness, knocked Sarah Platt unconscious when she threatened to ruin the stage scene. She did this because her control over David and Shona was starting to slip. They were starting to argue about her being there, and David was finally insisting she leave. To a manipulator like Jodie, being kicked out is like a death sentence for her plans. By staging a kidnapping, she effectively pauses the conversation about her leaving and replaces it with a conversation about her safety. It's a tactical move to make David want to rescue her. There's that chilling scene where she sits on the precinct swings, listening to Shona's frantic voicemail while her Good Vibes playlist plays in her ears. This shows she has absolutely no empathy for her sister. She isn't just messed up. She is getting actual joy and power from hearing the suffering of the sister she claims to love. This isn't a cry for help. It's a victory lap. The swing set is a powerful symbol here, too. It represents her arrested development. She is a grown woman playing games like a child, but the consequences are very adult. She has regressed to a state where she thinks the world only exists to serve her story. She is the director of her own tragedy, and she clearly doesn't care who gets hurt while she's filming it. The moment she hit Sarah was the point of no return for me. You can try to blame trauma all you want, but striking an innocent family member just to cover up a lie is the mark of a true antagonist. I think the show is setting her up to be one of the most hated characters we've seen in years, and honestly, it's working. This brings us to the Daniel Osborne connection, which is just as twisted. Why Daniel? Because he is currently at his lowest point after everything that happened with Megan Walsh. Jodie recognizes a fellow broken person, but while Daniel is drowning in guilt, Jodie is using her brokenness as a life raft. By blackmailing him into letting her stay at his flat while he's supposedly away in the lakes, she is exerting territorial dominance. She knows that Daniel's secret about his location is the currency she needs to buy more time. It's a classic predator-prey dynamic where she has sniffed out the weakest member of the extended family. Maybe the most disturbing twist of all is Jodie's attempt to literally step into Shona's bed. By masquerading as Shona and luring David into bed, she crossed a line that isn't just about revenge. It's about substitution. She didn't do this just to sleep with him. She did it to prove a point. In her mind, if she can fool David, she has won the right to be Shona. It's an attempt to invalidate Shona's entire marriage. If David can't tell the difference between the two sisters in the dark, then Shona's special connection to him feels like a lie. It's the ultimate psychological blow to someone's self-worth. For David and Shona, this has created a scene of pure trauma. Shona is haunted by the forensic results and all the inconsistencies in the stories she's being told. Can you imagine the internal betrayal of your own sister trying to steal your husband's intimacy? It creates a fracture in their marriage that Jodie can then wedge herself into. Think of Jodie as a vandal of emotions. She doesn't just want the house. She wants to spray paint her name over every single one of Shona's memories. She is tagging David and the kids as her own property. This is a grand theft identity storyline if I've ever seen one. I think the producers are being very brave here. Taking a couple like David and Shona and throwing this level of gaslighting at them is a big risk. But it's also great television because we need to see Shona fight back. We need to see Jodie finally get what's coming to her. As the investigation into the body found on the street intensifies, Jodie's lies are starting to collide with an actual murder inquiry. Kit and Lisa are looking at forensics that show more than one person's blood was at the scene of the attack at number 8. The pressure is mounting because the police are no longer just looking for a missing person. They are looking for a killer. Jodie's staged crime scene is now a piece of evidence in a much larger, grimmer puzzle. She has accidentally woven her own web of lies into a genuine homicide investigation. The whole street is in a state of high alert right now. Todd is spiraling, Daniel is hiding, and the Driscolls are a ticking time bomb. Jodie, meanwhile, is probably feeling a mix of adrenaline and actual fear. She likes being the center of the drama, but being the center of a murder investigation is a completely different level of heat. The whodunit aspect of this story is a clever smokescreen. While we are all looking for a murderer, Jodie is committing character assassination every single day. She is killing Shona's reputation and her sanity, which in many ways is just as murderous as a physical crime. I suspect Jodie might not be the actual killer, but she is definitely the catalyst for everything going wrong. Her presence has shifted the energy on the streets so much that everyone is starting to act out of character. The fact that she is on the victim list for the wedding day murder suggests her time is running out. I think she's going to push one person too far, and it might not even be Shona. It could be someone we don't expect, like Kit or even Daniel. The psychological state of the street right now is collective trauma. Everyone is suspicious of their neighbor. Jodie thrives in this kind of environment because chaos is her natural habitat. When everyone is busy looking for a killer, they aren't looking at the girl on the swings with her good vibes playlist. She is using the collective fear of the community as a cloak of invisibility for her own smaller, but equally devastating, crimes. So, what happens next? The sources point toward a massive collision of storylines on the day of Carla and Lisa's wedding. We know a body is found, and we know Betsy is the one who finds it. My prediction is that Jodie's attempt to steal Shona's life will culminate in a public exposure that leads to a massive chase. I think Jodie will attempt to use the wedding chaos to make her final move on David, perhaps even trying to get him to leave with her. But the revenge twist hinted at by the bosses suggests that the person who truly brings her down will be her father, Doug Ramsey. What if Doug isn't as confused as she claims he is? What if he is the one who holds the key to why she was really in that van in the first place? If Jodie ends up as the murder victim, it leaves the Platt family with a permanent scar. David and Shona would have to live with the guilt of wanting her gone, only for her to end up dead. If she is the killer, it's a dark end to a character who was messed up for a reason but chose the path of destruction anyway. We also have to talk about the introduction of Doug Ramsey in more detail. Why bring him in for just one episode? It feels like a character anchor. By showing Jodie in a hospital setting, tearfully introducing her confused father to Shona, the writers are giving her a sympathy shield. She needs Shona to see her as a martyr who sacrificed her youth to care for their dad. It's a calculated move to shut down any of Shona's lingering suspicions. Shona is clearly touched by this revelation, but we have to wonder what Jodie is actually feeling. Is she actually grieving her father's condition? Or is she just resentful that he's the reason she's so far behind in life? There's a bitterness in her truthful moments with Daniel that suggests she blames everyone but herself for her circumstances. I think the writers used Doug to humanize the monster, but I'm just not buying it. Just because someone had a hard life doesn't give them the right to knock Sarah Platt out or blackmail Daniel Osborne. I agree with the fans who think there's a deeper Weatherfield connection that we haven't seen yet. Could she be linked to Bernie or even Kit in a way that hasn't been revealed? Psychologically, this looks like parentification. Jodie was forced to act as the parent to her own father. This often leads to a deep-seated anger towards siblings who escape the responsibility. Jodie's revenge isn't just about what she wants. It's about what she thinks Shona doesn't deserve because she wasn't there to share the burden. It's an equity of suffering mindset. If I suffered, you have to suffer too. As we move into the next few weeks, that dynamic between Jodie and Daniel is going to be absolutely pivotal. Jodie worms her way into Daniel's home because she needs a safe house. She has burned her bridges at the Platts after that bed trickery, and she needs a new base of operations. Daniel's flat is perfect because he is holed up with just a bottle of booze, making him very easy to dominate. Daniel is in a state of deep depression, and Jodie is being ruthless. This is a collision of two different types of darkness. Daniel is being truthful about his pain because he's in a dark place, while Jodie is being quite truthful with him because she no longer has to maintain the perfect sister act. This is an unlikely friendship that is actually a mutual suicide pact of reputations. They are both hiding from the world, Daniel from his shame, and Jodie from her crimes. They are providing each other with a false sanctuary where they don't have to face the consequences of their actions. Honestly, I'm really worried for Daniel. He is no match for Jodie's machinations. She is going to chew him up and spit him out once she's done using his flat as a hideout. I disagree with the idea that this friendship is healthy. It's a parasitic attachment that will only pull Daniel deeper into his spiral. This is trauma bonding at its worst. They are bonding over their shared sense of being let down by their families. Jodie is using her tales of woe to mirror Daniel's own feelings of abandonment. It's a technique used by manipulators to create an instant, intense connection that bypasses normal trust building. She is reparenting him with life advice that is actually just a way to keep him compliant while she hides out.